Good morning, welcome to my live. Now you are in a space where you deeply want to reconnect with yourself, with your true purpose, with your intuition, with your inner wisdom, because you've had success, you're a high achiever, but that success feels kind of quite empty, quite disconnected, you feel quite dissatisfied. There's not any real fulfillment with this success. You're wanting to move out of the kind of inner turmoil, overwhelm, anxiety that has come along with the success that you've achieved so far. And really this is time for you now to go deeper. You want to go deeper. You want to reconnect with your truest version of self, which then brings us into this space where we can create our healthiest, most abundant version of us, for ourselves, our worlds, in terms of, both professional and personal lives. And then in that space, we're creating that ripple effect out into our community, but also for the sake of our family. So creating those deeper connections with our families and our kids. And this is very much what my work is about. I know that my mission, my purpose is very much to co-create a healthier, more abundant future society for the sake of us, for the sake of our children. And that is what, my clients and myself are here to do, are here to achieve, and we both know that. So if you're in that space at the moment, let me just get my book out from under my arm. If you're in that space at the moment, I'm going to just spend a few minutes telling you or illustrating to you how I've achieved this in my own life, how I've helped my clients do so that you know that it's absolutely, possible to do. And you're highly likely to have worked on yourself, already a fair amount, particularly if you're coming into my world. So this is likely to just take you deeper into that reconnection piece. So just to introduce myself for anybody that doesn't know me at the moment, and if anybody has any questions with anything that I am talking through, then by all means DM me. I'm just on my morning walk. I'm just about to hit some mud, so if you hear squelching, that's why. There we go. So yeah, by all means ask me any questions, DM me, or drop them in the comments below. So my name's Anna Rushmer, and I am a somatic healer and an intuitive guide. And my work is all about helping women, high achieving women, to really come into this mastering joyful success. So it's about having success, but in a way that just feels so fulfilling, so beautiful, just so soulful, that it's easy and it flows. But you also know, navigating the mud, you also know that you are creating, the level of impact that you also know that you're here to do. So, my name's Anna Rushmer. I'm a somatic healer, intuitive mentor. I have just said that. So when I talk about my work, I kind of talk about it in two main pillars. And as I'm saying this, this covers both one-to-one and group programs, but I'm particularly focusing on one-to-one as I'm talking through this, because that is where we're going to get our deepest transformation. So I tend to talk about it in two main pillars. The first is about deactivating our chaos. The second is about really coming into, firstly, deeply understanding and then deeply accepting and loving our true self. So let's just quickly cover the deactivating your chaos. So what I mean by this is that we kind of pick up all little bits of learnings, little bits of programming that we then store in our subconscious, our body's energy, our body's, our being, which all kind of create little bits of chaos for us. And until we can get to the point where we can recognize what they are, where they are, and actually work to release them or transmute them or whatever is right for our body, for our subconscious, those little areas of chaos are going to kind of mount up. Which is why we can often be successful, and I very much have I'm going back to sort of corporate days here, when my chaos really, really hit. I was very successful. I'd kind of built my way up through the corporate line. I'd always found it quite easy, really, to get promotions, get a new job, move on. So, I just dropped my book. I was successful, but there was no peace in me. There was a whole world of chaos. And that's basically because I had worked on myself, but not to the kind of root cause level that I truly needed. Now, I'm somebody who's experienced, shall we say, deeper woundings, deeper trauma, so childhood kind of woundings. But it doesn't need to be, and I hasten to add, have now, released, reprogrammed, all of that into beautiful stillness, calm, joy, all of those good things that I always wanted. I always just wanted to feel happy, and I couldn't understand why I couldn't get there. Anyway, so this is all about identifying with ease, with efficiency, these points of chaos for us. And so I started my training as a hypnotherapist. I now use hypnotherapy, breathwork, somatic therapy to help my clients or guide my clients to find with ease, because we're using the innate healing ability of our subconscious, our body's wisdom. They both know our answers already. I guide my clients to find those hidden programs, those subconscious programs, the energy that's trapped, that needs moving. And these are the things that will create overwhelm, mental health issues, anxiety, physical issues from emotions that have been trapped, suppressed. That is where the majority of our physical symptoms come from. If you have recurring aches, pains, migraines, whatever it may be, that is your body talking to you, as an example, to say, right, there's an issue here. We need to, this is something you need to pay attention to. So the first sort of main pillar is about deactivating your chaos, so that you can come into your stillness, your creativity. We open up this incredible world of stepping into our inner knowing, our intuition, which then makes life so much easier, because we know what decisions we need to make. We know, which of the options that are presenting themselves to us, that we just know where we need to go, what we need to do. We know what our aligned actions are. So this is where, if we've got chaos going on under the waterline, we can we will be feeling the symptoms of that. You're not necessarily going to know why it's there until we do this deeper subconscious body wisdom work. But this is why we can be successful on paper but not feel it. You know, going back to my corporate days, as I was saying, my life looked picture perfect. I had the perfect job, perfect partner, engaged to be married, lovely house, you know, we could go on holidays, we had disposable income, all of this stuff. I was just absolutely broken, completely empty, and my life was just being taken over by chaos. Now, the thing to know here is that if you are feeling like this, our world's energies are transitioning so much at the moment and so quickly that those that aren't doing the inner work are, you know, potentially really going to start struggling. Now, that's not to put the fear of God into anybody, but that is to point out, if you're feeling this stuff and you're resonating with what I'm saying here, please don't ignore it. You know, it's not something to think, oh, I'll do that in 6-12 months, because whatever the subconscious is focused on, whatever's going on in the body, we're just going to bring more of it in. Whatever the subconscious is focused on, we'll bring more of it in. Whoop. Sorry, I just dropped the phone. We're going to bring more of it in to validate how we are subconsciously feeling. So, and the subconscious is very, very, very powerful. Okay, so that's the deactivate the chaos element. You know, just as an example, so I kind of, when I talk about this, I try and talk about the process, but also the emotions that I experienced and the learning that I experienced. When I did my very first hypnotherapy session as a client, I had no idea, I mean, it makes total sense now, but that my chronic insomnia was linked to my previous trauma. I had no understanding of the incredibly strong protection mode that was going on with that programming. And it makes total sense now, but I had no understanding. And that the incredible shift that I felt in that first session, the incredible energy release that I felt was literally my subconscious, my body's wisdom taking over and releasing all of that crap. It was just incredible. So that's the first pillar, talking about deactivating our chaos, you know, moving from stress, chronic symptoms, into this beautiful stillness and inner peace and clarity. And I mean, it's just incredible how much my life has turned around. You know, there was a point that I was suicidal because I knew I just couldn't live the way I was anymore. I couldn't take anymore. My body was broken. I was broken. My soul, you know, my spirit was broken. That was it. There was no more I could do. And my life is completely flipped. You know, there's so much spaciousness, freedom, inner peace, joy. You know, I can really connect with my son. That was always something that I worried about, you know, being a parent myself and not being able to be a good mum, in inverted commas, but, you know, being able to connect properly with my son. So have I covered everything? You know, going from, we can work this deeply to go from complete kind of disconnection, the space of like abandoning ourselves, to feeling really deeply connected, really deeply understanding ourselves, and really coming into this space of feeling so much fulfillment in our success, in our life, in our personal and professional lives. Just starting to rain now. So the other element of this is truly understanding who we are our purpose, you know, who we're here to work with, who our soul clients are, how we communicate best, you know, really understanding ourselves on a deep, embodied level. And this is within my work, this is what I use human design and gene keys specifically for. So they are energetic frameworks that help us to understand ourselves to like our core, you know, our body, our soul's level, our energetic level, you know, who we are deep within our DNA. It is really incredible. It's almost like, particularly with gene keys, you can almost use it like a hotspot of shadow work. You might have heard that phrase before, shadow work that we can work through to kind of really, really blast through that deeper work. And when I say blast through, it's like, you know, transmuting that energy so that we're transmuting what we see as our limitations, our blocks at the moment, into real power. Like, this is really about liberating ourselves, empowering ourselves, stepping into our power, stepping into our truest form of us, because that is where our ease, our freedom, our flow, you know, our abundance, our health is going to come from, because we're not permanently working against ourselves and inadvertently blocking ourselves or bypassing ourselves or any of these sorts of things. So just as an example, I had no idea who I truly was after, you know, childhood woundings that made me really go into my shell, really keep myself hidden. I was very much, so, you know, my experience was around childhood sexual abuse, but then also parental woundings, which kind of saw me really go into my shell, you know, because to my subconscious, being visible was dangerous. You know, it was dangerous because I was in a dangerous situation with my abuser, which I hasten to add, I'm not in 1 second saying was my fault, but that is how my subconscious, you know, translated, perceived being visible. But then also very much in this space of, there became no point in speaking my truth, you know, being too visible to others around me, because that is, me being me seemed to cause issues, seemed to cause arguments, seemed to, you know, everything just shut down basically. So really diving into my human design, my gene keys, allowed me to really get to know who I truly am, which then opens up all sorts more confidence, you know, self-confidence for us, but also allows us to see our truest magic. I had no idea, you know, going back certainly to my corporate days, I had no idea that I was a natural healer. I had no idea that I needed so much stillness in my world, you know, just so much. I had no idea that I was so intuitive. I had just so many things. I had no idea that there was so much magic within me that was there to be brought out. So this is what we can tap into when we look into those energetic frameworks. So I combine the human design and the gene keys work with this super deep but efficient, effective, you know, combining these two creates this really delicious process of getting to know ourselves, but then deconditioning, you know, deconditioning from our past, deconditioning from societal conditioning, so that we can truly, truly, truly step into our power, into our freedom, into our liberation, into us. Being us is where we come into our health, you know, our best health. Being us is where we come into our most abundant world and our kind of truest version of success and purpose, because we're doing this from this point of huge authenticity, you know, and this is where life starts to flow. So This is exactly what I work with my clients on in my personal mastery one-to-one. I have 2 spaces for that at the moment. So if any of this resonates, if you'd like to have a chat through anything, you know, your situation at the moment, then by all means, DM me, book a connection call, you know, we can jump in. This is my one-to-one program. I was going to say something else and I can't remember what. I have 2 spaces available. I did say that. And for these spaces, this is a low 4-figure investment space. So I look forward to connecting with you. And any questions, ping